What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another F1 24 League Racing video. Today we are at Imola in CCRL. Here's a quick look at the standings. After the DNF in Monaco last week, we dropped down a position into P9. But heading into the quali lap here, this week we do have a sprint race, so this will be sprint race qualifying. The Alpine thankfully gets out of our way here as we start to make up a lot of time. We're 4 tenths up heading into this corner, and we're going to make up a couple more tenths. The cars honestly felt like rails at the beginning of this lap.
Chat, this is a big lap.
So you can hear me say this is a ginormous lap as of right now, the fact that we are almost 7 tenths up. Heading through Acqua Minerale here, we are going to lose a little bit of time going down this back straight. But as of right now, Purple Sector 1, Purple Sector 2 will gain almost 2 tenths of time in the chicane. Starting to worry about battery a little bit, as I do know we do need a little bit of ERS to dump out down the main straight here coming into the line. But thankfully, because of track evolution, we're still able to make up some time, and we are going to bring it across the line,
Huge lap.
and that will be pole position. As you can hear, we are pretty pumped. That was probably one of the best qualifying laps that we have ever produced. Heading into the strategy here, it is only going to be 11 laps, so we are just going to go out on the mediums and just ride out the mediums the entire way. Heading into the sprint race, it's 5 red lights, and it's lights out, and away we go. Got lots of wheel spin off the start here.
Terrible start.
So unfortunately, we are going to lose the lead of the race to the kick. From there, we're just really going to try to settle into our own race, put some pressure on them. Hopefully we'll make a mistake and regain the lead of the race. In this sprint race here, we're not going to really worry about tires. We're pretty confident that a medium tire can last 11 laps here. Pretty standard racing circuit, so there shouldn't be that high a drag around Imola. As we reach the midpoint of the lap, you can see it's kind of becoming a 3-car battle between the Kick and the Red Bull and I for the lead of this race as we start to pull away from P4 and P5 here. Throughout these first 2 laps, I felt like I was definitely the quicker car between myself and the Kick. So here, going down this back straight, especially with the DRS now open, and we have that advantage on them, we are going to dump our ERS pretty much almost completely and try to make this move done, just because we do feel like it is sacrificing a little bit of time if we keep behind this Kick. Now it's just time management, try to get the Kick out of DRS here after we have completed the move. The biggest thing is going to be, can we harvest enough battery and yet keep the gap? Just a few laps later, me and the Kick are going to go into turn 1 together, and he does not leave us enough space, which causes us contact in between the two, and then also the Red Bull came in, hit us in the rear right tire, which was ultimately the reason for spinning around, but realistically the whole incident started with not enough space being left. So now we are going to drop from a P1 down to a P10. And at this point, the only thing that's going through my mind is any damage limitations. We're going to make up 1 position back here and get into P9. Heading into lap 9/lap 10 here, we were able to make up the just over 2.5 second gap to the McLaren. We do feel pretty comfortable with some battery. We don't even have to expense any battery here to make this move happen. We're going to dummy him on the outside and send it down the inside. We do make this move work. He does come up at the inside there, and we just take too much curb there and lose the car. You're going to see the Aston Martins are going to come flying past me, so we will lose technically 2 positions in that. So you can hear me say the sprint race is just not for me. First we had the incident in turn 1, and then we had that incident. Into the last lap, we are going to make a move on this Aston Martin here into turn 1, make it very easy. We'll watch this Aston Martin spin out in front of us, so we'll make up 2 easy positions, and we'll be back in that P9 that we were in originally before we lost the car. And then we make another mistake. Just the tires are starting to fall off a cliff.
Ooh, the tires are
you
just
can hear me
slick,
say
man.
tires are really slick. I was actually really shocked about this, speaking of the fact that they weren't even 30% worn yet. But it is good information to know heading into the race that once maybe lap 11, lap 12 hits, that these tires have the potential to fall off a cliff.
Alright, we got that place no matter what. I'm confused who won. I don't know, either way, if the kick won, he's gonna lose because he's gonna end up getting a penalty.
So you can hear me say there, the EA was doing its typical EA things. I did not know really who won the race, but I knew that that kick was going to get a penalty for not leaving enough space against me. Once we did report that to the stewards, which that did in fact happen. There was a 5-second penalty given to that, but we will end up finishing P9 after penalties, in-game penalties. Thankfully in this league they do extend points to the top 10 for the sprint race. I believe they do points for all finishers in league races. So we will take home a couple points for the sprint race, but we will head into the now race qualifying.
It all comes down to this, chat.
As you can hear me say, it all comes down to this lap here. We did invalidate our first technical hot lap for the end of quali. We did make it around the track in time. As you can see, qualifying just ends, so we will be pushing this entire lap. Make up a little bit of time through the chicane. We do put up a purple sector 1.
That moment's gonna cost it.
As you can hear me say, we do have a big moment there. We lose almost a tenth of time. Able to make up some of it back here. Heading into Aqua Minerale, we'll be just shy of a tenth down, and we'll bring it back up to about a tenth and a half. Through the chicane here. Was a really good exit out of the chicane here. We'll bring it up to about just shy of 3/10. Coming out of the last turn, we'll be just shy of 4/10 up. And we'll see what it brings us across the line. We're currently sitting P3.
Yes!
For the moment, we'll take P1, but then LB the GOAT right behind us will beat us by just under a tenth of a second. With the information from the sprint race, we are still going to just go ahead and start on these mediums, kind of get that out of the way, knowing that if we do need to pit a little bit earlier, those hards should be able to last a little bit longer. But now we've got 5 red lights, and it's lights out and away we go for the main race. Another moment off the line there with some wheel spin, but thankfully it's not going to cost us. We'll be able to keep the kick behind us, and we're going to be able to slot right behind this Red Bull into turn 1. The cars are feeling super heavy on full fuel. As you can see, this Red Bull does go a little bit wide here, and the Haas behind us does have a pretty good exit. We go side by side through this corner, and he will have a better exit as I do as well through this straight. And we're just going to let him by and slide in behind the Haas. At this point, we're just focusing on our race, making sure that we keep it clean and making sure that we keep it on the track. Heading on over to lap 7 now. It has been a 4-way car battle for the lead of this race, pretty much the whole entire race. As you can see, we are still within the DRS of the Haas. The kick is still within the DRS behind us. We are pulling away from the Williams a little bit in P5. That is just strictly because of the DRS. He is out of the DRS from the kick, so we are able to pull a little bit away from him with just that little bit of advantage it has to open up that rear wing.
But at the same time, if we keep it clean, we don't really need to worry about Oz, because he's got that penalty.
Here at this point of the race, we are starting to look at tire wear and be a little bit worried, knowing that we're only 7 laps in. We almost have to double that, so if we just double our tire wear on that one side, we're going to be close to 40%, which the tires can get very, very slippery around then. But thankfully we were able to manage those tires, also manage the gap. with the DRS, we were able to also save some ERS in the process. And heading into lap 15, we will head into the pits and we will throw on a fresh set of hards.
Sure, we'll follow suit.
As you can hear me say there, we are just going to kind of follow suit of the leaders in front of us. We do kind of bottle our turn in there, so we are going to lose a couple tenths. But at this point, we just kind of were thinking about track position, and we wanted to continue to try to battle for the lead of this race. So we just decided to follow the leaders into the pit. Coming out of pit lane, we will come out in P8. That kick that just happened to go by us, that was a kick that was behind us, so he went in a lap earlier than I did, and the undercut did work. Lap 18 now, we are starting to gain time on the Williams in front of us. That is just due to his hards being older than ours. So we'll make that move pretty simple into turn 1. At this point, we also have racked up 3 seconds worth of penalties. You'll see here we're going to take another one, barely going off the track there, and they're going to give me a penalty for that. So now we have 6 seconds worth of penalties that will be applied at the end of the race. So our main focus is just maintaining gaps. Lap 20 now, we have gained over 2.5 seconds to this Haas in front of us. Heading down this main straight, we are going to turn on our battery, also use the DRS, and try to make a simple move down into turn 1, knowing he's blinking, which means that we have the ERS advantage, and we'll make that move nice and tidy into turn 1. Just this next lap, we were able to close within the DRS of the kick, so we will also try to make a move on the kick heading into turn 1. We would much rather have the clean, fresh air in front of us than the dirty air if we stayed behind the kick. So we do make that move work into turn 1, and now we just try to chase down that Red Bull in front of us.
Okay, good work. Great pass.
Lap 25 now, just coming out of Aqua Minerale here. We will get a full-on safety car deployed here. At this point, we are really considering heading into the box here for a fresh set of softs, but the main thing that we do not want to give up is track position. So ultimately, we do set the engineer up to put on a fresh set of soft tires, but I think we are going to elect to stay out. With just 4 laps of racing left now, LB the GOAT is going to get this race restarted, and thankfully he did restart at a weird spot, so we do maintain a little bit of a gap to the cars behind us, and now it should just be the Red Bull and I battling it out for the race win.
Tires are so cold. Push behind them and
Lap 30 now, this Racing Bull behind us is on a fresh set of softs, and he's making up quite an amount of time. He does have a lot of pace on us. He does have the better traction here, so he is going to make up that position, and we are just going to let him by. Just don't want to tangle with him, don't want anything bad to happen here with just a few laps left of the race. We'll just maintain our position.
He's got the way faster tires than I do. He's going to go on a...
Heading into the last lap of the race, we are still battling this Red Bull in front of us. We do take another warning there. The main thing that we're trying to pay attention to is P5 is still 3 seconds behind us, so that penalty will keep him out of the podium position. But as you can see, we did get a little bit slowed up there through that section there, and he is going to close that gap and get it within 3 seconds.
Gonna get the podium because he's gonna break.
We'll come across the line in P3, but because of the penalties, we will end up in P4. All around, good race, good strategy, and all around, lots of fun. If you guys would, please like, comment, share, and subscribe as always. We'll catch you guys in the next video.
Bye.